Hello, everyone. Marty Graceberg here, host of the Joint Venture Success Summit. And here with me today is Jeremy the Merchant. I am excited to be talking to him today because we're going to be talking about one of the critical aspects of our business, and that is how to create enticing offers so that is attractive to our JV partners and, of course, to our customers as well. So, Jeremy, welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much, Marie. Appreciate you having me.
I am delighted to have you on the stage, and I'm sure our audience too. So before we dig into the topic that I'm really excited that you're going to be talking about, let's share with our audience, what was it like? I mean, your story, what was it like before and after you incorporated joint ventures into your marketing mix? Because this is one of the areas that our audience really want to know. I mean, what was it like? I mean, what was the change that they can aspire to, knowing that this has happened to you?
Well, I think a lot of the viewers are probably having the same challenge that I had when I started, and I felt like when I first started the business, I thought, I'm going to figure this out on my own, and I almost had tunnel vision. And then secondly, I felt like I wasn't ready to reach out to joint venture partners. So I didn't feel like my products were far enough along. And honestly, when I started, all I did was one-on-one coaching because I hadn't figured out how to design products yet. So I was really nervous to reach out to anybody. But what happened was I ended up at a mastermind program. And I met a gentleman. He's a member of some of the same groups here. In fact, he's also presenting on the summit. And we just connected. And just seeing that somebody who was a bigger player in the game than I was at that time, reaching out and saying, you know what, let's do something. And he saw something that connected with him. And since then, it's been completely game-changing. So thanks to one single conversation, I'm in a place where I'm going to be co-hosting an event in Dubai in December. I've more like quadrupled my list in the last year just by making connections and supporting people. And referral business is just developing from affiliates and from just people I build those relationships with. So it's completely changed the game for me.
I mean, I love this kind of stories, and it really is about building that connections and connecting to people that not only will help us but support us, but at the same time people that we can support as well. Because yes, referral business or building a business, there's not much we can do by ourselves. I really believe in collaborations. Beautiful and well said that what you've said there, and I am excited too. I know Tom Matson is one of the speakers in this summit, and I am excited to what he's going to be sharing as well, because he is really into the spirit of collaboration and supporting each other. So I don't want to spill the beans.
No, he's the man that made it all happen for me. It was Tom Matson that I met and completely changed it all for me.
Yes, likewise with me too. All right, so before we get too excited here, I'd love for you to share with our listeners, what are some of the belief patterns that you had, about joint ventures, that stop you or probably hinder you from connecting to people? I mean, I certainly have some of this, and I'd love for our listeners to see for themselves that, okay, these are just limiting beliefs that shouldn't stop us from employing this great strategy, which is collaborating or supporting each other, or doing this what we call referral business or joint venture marketing.
Right. Well, I think, first of all, when somebody thinks of joint ventures, they primarily are thinking about a traditional launch. You see somebody promoting someone else in an email, and then as you dig deeper and you learn some of the logistics around it, it can be very intimidating. So what I always thought was I wasn't ready. I was too nervous. I needed to wait till I was further along in my business, had more success, had helped more clients, and then I would have something to offer. But the truth is, when it comes to collaboration and joint ventures in general, it's not necessarily just about having a program to get somebody else to promote. There's many different ways that you can help support somebody else. And so when you think about the opportunity, so for example, I mentioned with Tom Matson, I had no program, no product. I just did one-on-one coaching. And we just clicked, and he found that I was really authentic and I was sincere and wanted to help people. And he said, you know what, you're the kind of guy I want to do something with. Let's figure it out. And so there's those kind of people out there that will connect with you. So connect with people before you think you're ready, because it'll help build opportunity. One of the other things that I was concerned about was I don't have a big list. Right? When I started, we all start with one. That first email subscriber we get, we think is the game changer. And we're really in business. But one subscriber is not attractive to another joint venture partner. So we start to tell ourselves these stories that I can't provide that value to somebody else because I can't promote the way that they would for me. And it's really discouraging. And I talk to people all the time who, I've got a list of 20 people or 25 people or 125 people. And they say, I just couldn't provide the same value. And if you're comparing purely list size to list size, of course, it's not the same. But the opportunity isn't just in the list size. When it comes down to it, if you want to promote somebody else, even before you're ready and have a product, if you promote somebody else, it's a great way to build goodwill in advance. So I actually was able to get in the top 10 sales list on actually another presenter in this summit as well, on his leaderboard in a launch. And I think my list at the time was about 120 people. And I think it was number 7 in the top 10. And it wasn't because I had higher converting leads on my list than someone who had an 80,000 person list. It was because I knew the value of what was being offered, and I picked up the phone or opened up Facebook Messenger and I messaged people directly and got them on the phone and had a conversation and sold the program through a conversation. So my conversion ended up being a lot higher based on the compared to the people I had to reach out to. But I leveraged social media as well. So there's many different ways that you can support people. It doesn't have to be just about the list, especially when you're starting.
Wow, you've touched great points there, which I'm sure a lot of us share or had. I mean, no product, no offer, no list. These are one of those things that I had myself too, and I'm sure a lot of our audience and viewers share this one. And I'm glad that you touched on this because it's really important. Some of this prevent people are hung up with not connecting with people, and if not now, when? And you're never going to be ready. So it's really about finding creative ways to connect with people. If you don't have anything to offer, support them in any way you can. There are simple ways that you can do that. You don't have to have a big offer. You don't have to have a big list. There are so many ways because there's some unique gifts that you have in you that you can offer the other person. Connecting with people, going on the phone, that is huge. Somehow we lost that personal connection or touch nowadays because of technology. But picking up the phone and talking to people, going on Skype, that's the beauty of technology because we can reach out people to over the world. Exactly. And it's amazing. So now that we've busted this belief patterns, this myths or misconceptions that people have, let's now dig onto the main topic that we're going to have today. I'm really excited because it's one of the areas that a lot of us are hung up with: pricing, charging, anything that speaks about that. It's like it was a struggle for me, and I'm sure some of our listeners have the same struggle. So let's talk about that. And I know you're going to share with us valuable presentations. So let's do that.
All right. Okay, perfect. So the focus that I wanted to cover is how to structure an enticing offer so that's attractive to your JV partners. And the first slide is actually the one I'm going to spend the most time on because I think it's the biggest one: mindset and pricing. And this is a quote that I learned from one of my first coaches when I started my business. And it's in any transformational program, which is most of the case with what we're talking about with the audience that's watching this. The level of investment reflects the level of commitment to achieving the result. So I want you to think about this. If I said, I've got this training program for you and I'm going to hand it to you, and from you all I want is $5. They're going to go, great, okay. And you're going to put the training program down and you think you're going to get back to it, and you might never go back to it because $5 might not be a big deal to you. But if I say this training program is $500, well, maybe to you $500 is a bigger investment. And so you push yourself to get more return from it, so you engage at a higher level. And if you don't mind, I want to share a quick story about how this applied to me. When I first started out, my first ever training in the coaching space was about building the business of coaching. And I went to this seminar. It was a 3-day seminar. I had just left my traditional job. I had gotten a severance package, and I had about $2,000 left. And the ticket price to this 3-day seminar was $2,000. So I knew I wanted this. I'd seen Tony Robbins a few years before, and I was all fired up and motivated and knew that I needed to communicate my message and help impact people. And I was finally free of the corporate constraints that I had felt in my career. So I knew I had to take this training. So I took my last $2,000 and invested it in the price of the event. And I was so broke at the time that I think I borrowed gas money to drive to the event. It was about 4 hours away. And I stayed at a friend's place overnight, so I didn't have any hotel costs. But when I got there, I found out that to get the room, to have higher attendance, there were some tickets that were sold at $200 where I had paid the $2,000. Now, my first instinct was, oh, that's not fair. I got ripped off, But on the second day, the coach said, look, tomorrow you're going to do a 20-minute presentation in front of the group on the stage with a microphone. You need to deliver a program, including a transformational exercise, and you need to make an offer at the end. So the idea was to show us how fast we could create it, but also force us up in front of the group. And up to that point, I had never been in front of a group except for my own sales team in my corporate life. So I was terrified. And if I had only spent $200 on that ticket, I probably would have just picked up and went home at that point. But I spent my last $2,000, and I had to get a return on it. I needed to retain the information and be able to implement it. And I knew, even though this was going to push me outside my comfort zone, it was going to help me get to where I wanted to be. And looking back on all the people that took the program, I'm one of the few that's building a growing coaching business. And I truly believe that a big part of it was that I had more to lose. So I forced myself to be more engaged. I forced myself to apply it, and I forced myself to get the most possible of the program because of the level of investment that I had. So I was more committed because of that level of investment. So I want you to keep that in mind when it comes to pricing your programs. A lot of people think, oh, well, I'll price it really low, and then we'll get people in, and we'll make it better, and then we'll slowly increase the price. And that strategy can work, but people tend to use that strategy way too long. And they tend to start way too low. If you position a really high quality program at a price point that's $50 or $100, and that's supposed to be your core program, you're not going to see the results, because the people you're going to attract are going to be the people that are willing to pay the $50 but wouldn't be willing to pay the $500. So you're attracting people that might not have the money and the willingness to invest their time, their energy, and the effort to get the result that's possible from your program because you didn't price it properly. So in that scenario, the pricing can actually be used as a filtering mechanism. When people go into a program, like when I work one-on-one with a client, I don't want people that are there to just sit back and listen to the information. I want someone that's going to engage, that's going to ask questions, and then is going to take the content and go implement it in their business as soon as possible. And so I know that if I have a high price on my coaching, like for me, it's a pretty significant investment to work with me one-on-one for sales coaching. And I do it on purpose because I found that when I was priced lower, I was attracting people that weren't as committed. And as soon as I increased the price, the first client that signed on at that new higher price took his business from, well, there was no business when I started, went from no business to $100,000 in revenue in 6 months. And it wasn't necessarily anything special about what I delivered compared to the previous people. It was because he was an action taker. And the reason that I was able to bring him into the program was because he fit the ideal target market, and that ideal target market was willing to invest at that higher level. So it actually helps improve your business when you're able to price higher, because you're getting, I don't want to say higher quality, but I'll say more committed clients. And that's going to help you see the results. And one last point I'll make on this. A lot of people come out of like a coaching school and they're encouraged to coach for free. And it drives me nuts. And the reason is that if you go and coach someone for free, they have nothing to lose by not implementing. They can comfortably stay where they're at. And so a new coach will often go coach for free, not have great results, and feel like it's them. And this, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. They throw in the towel. The coaching business is done. And it's not the case. It's simply that you don't have the right, again, I'm tempted to use the word quality, but the right level of commitment from your client to get the result necessary. So that's why it breaks my heart when I see people coaching for free. The next point that I want to talk about is pricing structure. And Marie, if you have any questions as we're going through, feel free to dive in, because I'm not the type of person that just loves to hear myself speak. So feel free to jump in. But in general, most programs, and when I say programs, I think of anything that has a fixed start point and a fixed end point. One thing that I encourage you to do after you've established the pricing, actually I'll get into the pricing, the approach to do appropriate pricing in a second, but structure-wise, always create an incentive for someone to pay up front. This, again, increases that level of almost like a filter. If they're willing to invest up front a higher amount, then they're probably in a position to be more committed to getting the result. And you can have payment plan options as well, but avoid having the payment plan extend beyond the length of the program. So we all want to reach out and help more people and serve more people, and we have a tendency to want to get our price as low as possible so more people can take advantage of it. But what happens, a big part of this is really protecting you and your business. So if your payment plan extends beyond the length of the program, if somebody's struggling with cash, instead of them going out and actually implementing what you're teaching them to make more money or whatever the area is that you're focusing in, it's easier for them to just stop a payment if they've already gotten all the content. And so don't put yourself in that position. And some of this structure I'm using in reference more to like a launch style joint venture. So a lot of people you'll see with guarantees on their programs. And there's two ways that I see work really well. A lot of people will use a 30-day guarantee. And the reason is because they're doing these launches with joint ventures. And so if the refunds are all out of the way, if there's people for whatever reason, they signed up because they didn't understand the program, or something happened in their family and it's just not the right time for them, or whatever the reason is, with a 30-day guarantee, that means all the refunds are out of the way. And then after that 30-day mark, you can look at processing commission payments to affiliates. So you don't find yourself in a place where you've already paid all your referral partners, and then somebody says, well, no, I want to cancel. Because you just really can't go back to your referral partners and ask for money back. Now, some people structure it so that they do, but it's just not the best way to create goodwill. You want to build these strong relationships with your referral partners. So structure your pricing and your commission programs in a way that you can give them the best experience possible, the same way you want to give your clients the best experience possible. And to do that, you want to make sure your business is protected. The other route is the long-term guarantees, because they're actually less likely to be taken advantage of. So I know that might sound a little bit manipulative, but a lot of people, if they get into tough times financially, they start going, where can I get the money? And instead of going out and making a sale or growing their business, they think, I've got this program and I know it's, I've got 2 more days left before this 30-day guarantee runs out, especially if it's a no questions guarantee. Then they might just make that phone call and say, I need my money back, and come up with a reason. But if it's long-term, they're not thinking about that. They're not marking a date in a calendar of when they need to make a decision by if they want to keep it. So if it's a year long, they're not going to say, okay, I signed up on January 1st, so December 31st, I'm going to mark my calendar to decide if I want to cancel. People don't do that. They don't want to put that much effort into it. But if it's 30 days or 45 days out, they can mark their calendar. And it gives them almost an escape. And the reason why having that escape, and this actually, I personally don't like the 30-day guarantee, to be honest, because giving somebody that escape suggests that they're not fully committed. So for me, it's not about whether they get money back or not. The only way that they're going to get the result is if they're 100% committed to getting that result. And if they're this little dangling guarantee or refund potential is out there, they've got their mind thinking about something else. So that's why I personally don't like guarantees in general. But if you do a guarantee, make it a phenomenal one. So one that's not going to position somebody in a way that they're marking a date in a calendar to get a refund. Associate it to results and make sure you're in a position to deliver all the support necessary to get the results. So I know one of the gentlemen that I do some work with, his guarantee actually includes you pay partially for a program, and it's a done for you program. So you pay partially up front, and then you pay the rest after you get X number of dollars earned, so the specific result. And so it's a risk reversal in that you end up, you're comfortable investing because you know that me as the person delivering the program is so confident you're going to get the result that I'm willing to wait for the rest of my money and I'll prove it to you. That kind of guarantee is actually much more impactful and doesn't put you in a position where you're worried about relationships with affiliate partners. You just make sure that the payout schedule that you have with your affiliate partners reflects that appropriately. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. And I have a quick question on the pricing structure. All right, so those are all good stuff. I love what you said about 30-day guarantee or the long-term guarantees and being fully invested in our customers' benefits, in our customers' results. I mean, we are invested in wanting them to get results because that's what we are. I mean, we are teaching people because we want them to get their results. We want them to take action. So we get that. All right. So for example, we have a online course that is going to be, let's say you meet about nine coaching calls, total. But you provide like a 1-year support via like a Facebook group or like that. Would that so if you want to provide a payment plan, for example, you divide, let's say, a $2,000 course, you want to give them an option of a 12 payment plan, because I see that one a lot. What do you see are the pros and cons of doing that? I know for one, it's a lot more affordable for people, but in terms of commitment, would that reduce that level of commitment because now they staggered their payment, or it shouldn't affect it?
Well, I think when it's something where there is a component that goes the full year, it's not as bad. I mean, there is always that risk, right? As soon as they get the core content, if there's a reason that they need to save money, they'll make that decision and cancel a payment. But it's less of a concern if there is an annual duration to a part of the program. Now, something like support, that works really well for like a software because people are always going to keep using it. For a coaching business, if you can also tie in some component of your service that people continually go back to throughout the year, it's going to strengthen that.
Yep, got it.
So right. If it's like access to the replays of the calls for the year, something as simple as that to go with the support in the Facebook group, that can make the difference.
Yeah, got it. All right, I'm going to let you continue with the presentation.
Perfect. The next piece I just want to touch on is memberships, because memberships don't follow the same structure as programs. Membership programs, you typically want people to pay monthly because from a business perspective, it gives you a nice, steady, stable, recurring income, so you minimize the ebbs and flows of the entrepreneurial cash flow situation. However, if you want to incentivize people to pay up front, then one of the models that I personally use is if you pay for the year, you get 2 months for free. So for example, I've got a membership site that's $47 a month right now, but if you pay for the year, it's $470. So you only pay for 10 months and get the other 2 for free. But with the pricing structures here, you want to make sure you can cancel anytime. So make sure they're comfortable. You don't want to make them feel like they're locked in, but you want to actually build that commitment when it comes to the value that they're receiving in the group, the engagement you're getting. And then be clear on your affiliate commission arrangement as well with that. So are you going to pay somebody monthly for as long as that person stays a member? Or are you going to give them 100% of the first month's payment. I've seen both models work well. One of the challenges on memberships, though, and I'll just mention this, is, and I've seen this listening to Ryan Levesque and Ryan Dice, they've both mentioned it, it's really tough in general to sell memberships because there's a psychological piece associated with not having a specific end date to a payment coming in. So there's certain programs that I'm a member of that I just know, even if there's a month that I don't go into it, I know I'm going to use it, it's going to benefit me. But if somebody was in a position where money got tight, that's going to be one of the payments as they're going through their bank statement, seeing what they can cut, they're going to see that payment. So another strategy can be, depending on the level of value you're delivering, is make the payment for the membership so small that people don't really think about it. Now, if that's the situation, you want to make sure that the value you're delivering, and more specifically the time, the live time you're putting into it is, I'll say, lower or at least scalable, so that you don't have people doing a $5 a month membership program and you're going hour after hour doing live calls for the group and burning yourself out, because it's just not a good return on the investment of your time. And a lower price membership like that tends to have a lower level of commitment, like we talked about earlier. So you're going to see people with less results. One of the best membership programs that I'm in is Ryan Levesque's Next Level Mastermind program. It's $97 a month. The highest membership program I've ever signed up for. That wasn't didn't have software associated. And it's just such a great place to get the engagement and get the value. And it's because the people in the group are all investing at $97 a month. So they're playing at a higher level than somebody that might be in a $20, $30, $50 a month membership program. So they're more engaged, they're more committed, and it enhances your experience. So a higher monthly fee for a membership program, depending on who you're targeting and what it is you're trying to help them achieve as a result, that higher price can actually help attract those higher level of commitment in people and increase the level of quality experience all your members have because of who they're surrounded with. Yeah, do you want to have a question on that?
Yep, I'm just listening. I'm excited for this next one, results-based pricing.
Yeah, I know you like this one. And so do I. So this is what I want. So we talked a lot about the mindset around pricing. I dove into this business and I set a price that I thought was fair and comfortable when I started. And then my coach said, why don't you just charge X number of dollars? And it was a number that I thought was way too high. I thought it was insane. And he said, well, first of all, the buying decision isn't that much different between rate X and rate Y. But the key, before I get into the results-based part, the key is to, whenever you have a higher level service, I'm going to say one-on-one or like masterminds, things like that, even though it could go on month after month for a number of months, avoid pricing anything based on hours. Hey, just don't do it. There's no exception to this. Don't price based on hours. Don't say I'm going to give you an hour session and the price is $100, because people think, why would I pay you $100 for an hour when at my job I get paid $20 for the hour? So don't do that. Make it a package that focuses on the results. So some people will say, oh, we do 10 coaching sessions and it's X number of dollars. Well, then people start associating the price per coaching session. So people break that down. I don't do that. I have a program. I've got a title for my one-on-one program, and it's X number of dollars over X number of months to help you achieve X result. And we will have talked before that to make sure I'm clear on the result that the person wants, so I know that I can support them in that. And so it's not about how many hours or how long a call is. It's about getting the result. So that's really, really important. The same idea goes for more structured programs. So we have a tendency, because the offers we see in emails tend to be like $19.97 is a really common price for a 6-week program, a 12-week program, sometimes they're 12-month programs. It's a really common price point, and we decide to gauge our value based on where we see ourselves in comparison to the other person that made that offer. And so, like, I know, for example, you've got Rich on the summit here as well. And so the JV Insider Circle program, it's a fantastic program, but if you were trying to determine if your program could be as effective as his and compare price-wise, it's going to be a real challenge because he's been doing this for a long, long time. That doesn't mean that his results are going to be better. In fact, chances are you're in a different space, so it's not even a fair comparison. So we got to get out of our own heads. We got to stop comparing ourselves to the next coach or the next entrepreneur. And we got to focus on exactly what value it is and what result we help our clients get. So ask yourself this question. If a client fully participates and implements the content in your program, what results can they expect? So can they make more money? I do sales coaching, so it's an easy one for me to calculate. Right? One gentleman, I know what he invested. Within 6 months, he had $100,000 in revenue. But sometimes it's not that easy, and sometimes you've got to work to get to a concrete number. So if your program helps somebody get to greater confidence, well, what else does that influence in their life? Well, it could influence their relationship. It could help, if they're in a struggling relationship, helping someone be more confident, or a program that helps somebody communicate better with their spouse could help avoid a costly divorce. Well, what might that cost? What impact could that have on the children? What's the finance? And if you can bring it back to a financial place, it's not all about money, but if you can bring it to a financial place, it just makes it easier to associate a price with it. But don't, and this is a big challenge for people that are in different areas of life coaching, is they have a hard time associating a dollar value with the results somebody gets. But we tend to not think about the other areas that are affected. So if you help somebody get clear on their passion in life, and if they implement everything you do in the next 12 months or 24 months or whatever the timeline is, they can leave their day job, start their own business, and be living a life where they travel the world. Well, a lot of people would say that's priceless. And so if you can associate the value, specifically what the value is to them, what would somebody give or invest to be able to have the life of their dreams? And you can ask people, ask your ideal client, interview them, and ask what that would be worth to them. And that's one way that you can kind of get your finger on the pulse of what the value is for your program. But don't think about hours. Don't think about other coaching programs. If you're competing in a really busy marketplace, you might consider the value your program offers to a joint venture partner, which we'll get into in a second, because you might be competing for somebody's willingness to mail for you. But in pricing your programs, focus on what is necessary to make sure this person gets the result, and then what pieces do I need to put into it. So that's the core pieces of it. The second part is how many people can you serve in the program? So if it's a one-on-one program, you're limited to the number of people you can serve, obviously, in your time. So it's one person per session. And so it's got to be a higher value. So you want to get a higher return on your time. If you can position yourself in a way like a lot of the programs you'll see through launches, where they can serve 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, and some programs can have 1,000 people based on the structure. Well, if you can do that, then there's an opportunity to maybe offer it at a little bit of a lower price point because you have a better leverage on your time. And that's why you can see people coming out of programs, and I'll mention JVIC, for example, who make hundreds of thousands of dollars in their business from relationships they build there. But the investment at the time was in 1997, right? So it's not that the JVIC team is underpricing their program. It's that they've created a program that they can leverage so they can allow more people to come in and still be in a position to have a great team that provides the best experience for clients. And the other piece, as I kind of mentioned, how much of your live time is necessary for optimal results. So don't make a program and say that'll do as far as results go. Now, I'm a firm believer done is better than perfect, but I want you to always be improving your program so that you continue to have amazing raving fans. So, for example, the first time that I ran my 6-week program, or that's how it started anyway, I thought I would just do 6 live calls and record them, and I would do a Q&A at the end. But then in a single day, 26 people enrolled in it, and I had the structure thought out to be like 6 or 7 for my first go-round. And I realized that I needed more live time to ensure they were implementing. So I extended it to 12 calls. There was a module one week and then a live call that was Q&A and discussion the next week. And then they could go on to the next module. And I realized that that's a more scalable model because I can have 100 people on the go through the module and then have 100 people on a live call, like, you know, through software like GoToWebinar or Webinar Ninja or whatever the software is going to be for the live call, to be able to answer those questions and support them in a way that I help ensure that they get the results. So those are the things to consider. What's the value people get? And how much time do I need to deliver of myself live to ensure they have optimal results? And when you consider that, then you can find a balance. And there's still a wide scale. There's no dead set number. Many of the people that have big launches in the industry, they choose the number because that's the price point that competes at the higher levels. And this is why you see a lot of programs that are $19.97. But you don't need to have it at that price. If you have a program that delivers crazy value and you want to ask people for $5,000, you can do it. I saw someone else that just did a launch not too long ago. The program is $5,000. It's because it didn't matter to them what everybody else was doing. They knew that they could deliver insane results for people in their business, assuming everybody implemented all the steps and took action. And so charging $5,000 for the program, it was still way underpriced because the results are long-term recurring income for people. So, you know, keep that in mind. Oh, going too fast. Oh, there we go. Okay. So these are commission structures, and I wanted to touch on because this is a really big question in the space for joint ventures. And the truth is, it's up to you. That's the real answer. It's just up to you. However, these are some structures that tend to work pretty effectively. So if you've got a program that's 100% digital, or it's a live and digital hybrid, 40-50% is good. Okay, and you want to price it considering that you're going to pay half of it out as a commission. And I want you to think about, some people might say, oh, 50% is a lot. But you're not paying unless somebody buys. So all the other marketing fees that you may have for generating leads or prospects through other sources for your business, you know, we talk about Facebook ads and all these things, you don't have any of those expenses. So if you can take home, let's say, 50%, or your company itself can have 50% of the price of the program, still cover your actual costs of creating it and executing it, and still turn a profit, you're good. Does that make sense, Mike?
Yes, totally makes sense. And I love this structure that this commission structures, because it's really helpful for all of us. At least we have like a standard or something numbers that we can start with, because it's really hard to come up with that number. Sometimes we just say, okay, other people are doing this, we should do this on. So having these numbers to start with, especially if you're just starting out in this JV thing, it's really, really helpful. So thank you for sharing this.
Yeah, my pleasure. And so I've adjusted the percentages here for a larger group, and back to the point that I made earlier about your ability to scale. If you have the ability to deliver a program to a large group, but it's live, so let's say you can have 100 people on a call or 1,000 people on a call, and the core value is delivered by you sharing your message and giving instruction. Well, that still takes a lot of your time, but because you're so highly leveraged using the technology, you've got more wiggle room to give that commission. So in that scenario, a 20 to 50% is totally reasonable. As you get down to a smaller group, for example, I've got my Momentum Mastermind program. It's a high ticket program, but it's a very small group. And I deliver a high level of value. And the calls, we do 2-hour calls a month, and then I do a one-on-one with everybody as well each month. So it does take a fair amount of my time. So in a program like that, I'm not going to go and give 50% because I've got so much time dedicated. And it's the design of the program is that if it gets too many people into it, it starts to lose the value. And I don't want to do that. So depending on the structure that you have, for a small group or one-on-one, 10 to 40%, especially the one-on-one is going to be lower because it is your time. For me, my one-on-one or my small group, I do 10%. And that way, because you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're feeling, oh, I got to go and make more money. And you don't want your focus to be on money, because if you focus on a lack of having money or having a lack of money, then you're not going to be focused on serving your clients. So your clients have to come first in all of this. And this means you and your business have to be taken care of. The next piece I'll mention is live events. So this is really neat. I've seen live events done multiple ways, but the standard that I've seen, I'm going to skip the first point. The standard that I've seen is like a 40 to 60% ticket price with something like a 10% commission on any back-end offers. Because when you're doing a live event, you always want to have an offer at the end. If, in fact, when you're doing any kind of program, you want to have some type of offer at the end that offers the people the next level of support that's appropriate for them. So you want to make sure you're that person that can provide that to them, or partner with somebody who can and work that out as well. So if I'm promoting an event, let's say the ticket price is $100, I might pay you $40 to $60 of it. But if the offer that I'm going to make at the back of the room at the end of the program is $10,000, I might give you another $1,000 if they buy. So that's a pretty standard structure. There's variations of it. But another approach that I hadn't seen as much but works phenomenally is giving 100% of the ticket price with nothing on the back end. Because people in general don't like waiting for money. It's really cool thinking when you start, hey, down the road I could get a percentage, but you don't think to track it. You don't want to go track it. You just hope the people you're partnering with are going to be good at making the payments. And if they're not, then it just becomes a headache. But if I know right from the start that if the ticket price is $100 and I get my friend to sign up to go to the event, and I've got in brackets here, if they attend, so they have to attend in this structure, okay? 100% of the ticket price, if the person attends, then I know exactly what I'm getting. And in fact, one that I was at, which went very, very well, was 100% of the ticket price. And when the person came, they got their ticket price refunded, but the affiliate still got paid. So the person actually not only took, didn't make any money off the ticket, but they actually took a loss, because that's how valuable it was to have somebody in that room, and the potential for upsell offers at the end and adding value and spreading the word and impacting more people. So that's a little less of a conventional approach, but it works really, really well. Because even if the people don't buy, you are very strongly incentivized with a very clear outcome. You're very clear that you're going to get 100% of this ticket price. And you know what that ticket price is when you start. So you can plan, hey, if I get Jim to go to this event, I'm going to get $100. Awesome. Let's see if I can find 10 more people. And then, and you're comfortable with that. You don't worry about there not being anything on the back end. And so the person hosting the event, in this case, the listeners, they know that they're going to have an initial loss on any expense they put into the event. But if you have a really good offer set up, then you're going to make it back and then some, because the more qualified buyers you have in the room, the higher success you're going to have. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I love that. I love that model wherein you're giving 100% off for the live events, because the thing is, what we don't realize that we can make money at the back end. I mean, getting people in the room, that is a huge benefit. So if we can sacrifice that, giving incentive to our partners for that one, and then getting more people into the event, I mean, that is a no-brainer. And I'm sure our listeners probably haven't, this is really unconventional, like what you said. I have not heard this so often, but that is really a great model to really do, especially if you are doing live events. So I love it.
Awesome. And what was I going to mention? And to your point about having the opportunity to make the money on the back end, if we take a step back to the programs, in a conventional launch, typically what happens is that commissions are paid out based on that initial purchase, and then there's no expectation for any of the upsell commissions from there. Depending on the scenario, different, obviously people will do it differently, but typically it's you get a 40 or 50% cut of the purchase price of that item. And then you, as the person offering the program, has a chance to increase your revenue by having upsell offers or the next step after that program, for example. So also don't think about the commission as, oh, I can't believe I'm going to give away 50% of my program, because that's a client that you can earn potentially a lot more money from and deliver a really high level of service and value to for as long as you can keep them as a client. So a lot of people that are watching this might not be in a place to know what the lifetime value of a client is, but it's something that's really beneficial for you to figure out, because then it gives you a greater ability to calculate what you're willing to spend to get a client. The next part. So I want to talk about now how to structure an offer so that everybody wins. So I've called this triple win offers. This is a Tom Madsen term, so I got to give him full credit for the title triple win offers. But the first piece, and for me, when I design an offer, it's got to be about the client winning. So this is why a client can win from a really good JV offer. And these are things that you should think about. One, you deliver a program that offers great results when it's implemented. And I'll mention, we all know that there's people that buy programs that don't do the program. Don't feel bad when somebody buys it and doesn't show up and then says, oh, I didn't get the result. Of course they didn't. This is just a numbers game, and it's not your fault as a coach. This is just somebody that bought something that isn't committed to the result. There will be those no matter what. Don't beat yourself up over it. Try to get them into a conversation and see if there's some way you can help them to get them further if you want to, but you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. So I just want to throw that out there. Secondly, the perceived value can be enhanced with bonus offers. So for example, if I want to bring somebody into, let's say my mastermind program, well, with that mastermind program, I give them bonus offer of my membership program. I give them a bonus offer of access to all the digital trainings I've ever done. And so these things can really add up in value to, additional $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. But all these bonuses that I'm offering are either completely digital or highly leveraged. So it doesn't cost me anything more to add somebody to the group, and I can add a whole lot of value to that new client by giving them that access. So they win. And the other piece is people make the buying decision on the spot because of bonuses. Okay, that's typically the way it is. You can have a fantastic offer, a fantastic price, and I want to say based on value. You don't want them to feel like it's a cheap offer. But then if you add in extra bonuses, ones that don't cost you anything extra to deliver on, then you enhance their experience, and it's just an overall win for the client. The other part is in joint venture partnerships, a joint venture can all add in their own bonuses. So I've been promoted for a lot of people, been part of different launches in many different forms. And one thing that I make sure I do is, and now people tend to coach and encourage their affiliate partners to do, is to add in their own offers. And so if somebody buys, you're going to get a commission. If it's a $2,000 program, they're giving 50%, you're going to make $1,000 off this. What can you give as a bonus to your client? They're already on your list, so they already know you. What can you give them as an incentive to take action on this? Is it a digital program? A lot of bonuses are digital programs or tickets to live events because it doesn't cost them any more to add another person, but can still deliver that great value. So the client wins from the core program, the bonuses you offer, and the bonuses that your joint venture partner can offer as well. Now, you need your JV partner to win, and this is really important too. They can deliver great value to their clients, so you got to have a good program. Most programs are good, so that's not usually a question as long as you sincerely are focused on getting the client the result. Don't build a program to make money. Build a program to deliver value that people are willing to invest in. That's a huge distinction that I want you to make, because if your driver is just making money, you will fail. Secondly, your JV partner looks like they're really well connected in the industry, and they're promoting someone else's stuff. So it increases their perceived authority to the client. So if I'm promoting, Marie, one of your offers, for example, and they're like, oh, Jeremy's working with Marie. Oh, yeah, it looks good. He's, making contacts and expanding his business. So it's good for my reputation if it's done properly, which when you're doing email blasts to promote things, edit your copy, customize it so it's a true message from you, not just blasting whatever stock email copies somebody puts out there. And the JV partner gets to earn great commissions and they don't have to deliver anything. Or if they do, it's something very scalable that they've added in as a bonus. So I love the idea of being able to provide value to my client, especially in an area that I don't have programs for myself. I get paid. I don't need to deliver. The client's extremely happy. That client, for example, that I mentioned, I went from no business to 6 figures. I wasn't his only coach. I worked with him on the sales structure and strategy, but he actually worked with Jay Facette in his Mastermind to Millions program, or Launch Your Mastermind 90-Day Bootcamp. So we worked together, and I'm the one, he was my client initially, and I promoted Jay's program to him. I got a commission, yes, and I was completely transparent about it. But then he got to bounce ideas off Jay and I to build the business. So it's a huge benefit to JV partners and also the clients that way. And then you need to win. Okay, the coach, the entrepreneur that's building this offer, you need to win. So one, you're going to get a new client or at least prospects. So have some form of opt-in option, especially if you're doing a full program launch. Have a way that people can opt into your list without having to do the full commitment of buying, so you can go back and remarket to those people. 2, you increase your ability to reach the people that need you. This is a big thing for the heart-centered entrepreneurs. People need your services. Don't be scared. Don't hold back, because I believe that a fear around, especially sales, and this is all sales, a fear around sales is actually selfish. You're putting your fear and your hesitation above the primary goals of success of your potential client. So don't do it. Okay, reach out, get people to know you, get people to know, like, and trust you, and provide that value to them. As well with the launch or any kind of JV opportunity, you've got future sales potentials. We talked about upsells. You must generate enough revenue to realize a profit. So after you pay for all the technology you've used to put together the program, after you've paid out your affiliate commissions, after you've figured out how much it's going to cost you to cover the live event you threw in as a bonus, you need to still come up in the green. You need to make money. And that's because without making money, and money's not a dirty word, guys, without making money, you can't grow your business and you can't continue to serve. As I mentioned earlier, if you're always worried about where your next sale's coming from, you're always worried about the money to pay the bills, if that's your focus, then you're not giving the proper focus and value to your clients. So make it okay in your mind to make money. Make it okay in your mind to charge based on results that people get, so that you have that space, that margin in pricing to pay out commissions for great people that are willing to say, yes, I know James, and he's got a fantastic program. I think it's something you should take a look at. Thank them for it. Thank them for it financially, and make sure you're in a position to do that. And of course, you get increased reputation in the industry. I know dozens of coaches, especially in the space, who I didn't know who they were until I saw somebody else's whose list I was on promote them. Like people, I guess I probably shouldn't use names, but I will anyway. Like Josh Turner, for example, he does that Linked University program. I had no idea who the guy was. And then suddenly everybody's promoting for him, and now he's like the top of his game. And all it took, and I'm sure there were steps that I didn't see, but when you have a really well-planned launch, it can be phenomenal. So, but to touch on that, you don't need to have a full-out launch when you start. An affiliate relationship doesn't have to be that kind of structure. I have people that just really like my program. I get them to sign up for my affiliate programs. They promote, I send them a referral fee if somebody buys. Simple. There's other structures you can do as well. Like with Tom Adson, for example, him and I worked out an arrangement where a certain segment of his clients can get access to one of my programs. I get prospects. He gets, he increases the value to his clients, and we all win. So there's many opportunities. And one last point I'll make. I know I'm running long a bit. One other thing is in a typical launch structure, people tend to only have the affiliate commission be applied to that product, as I mentioned earlier. What a lot of people don't do but can do, and this is what I do outside of launches, if somebody sends me a referral through an affiliate link, I keep that link attached to that prospect in my system for up to 12 months, which means if they come in by downloading a free item that you sent them to, then if they buy something 6 months later, your name's still going to be attached to it, and you're still going to get a commission for it. Because I want to show people that I really appreciate when they talk about my programs, my services, and share it with others, and that's how I can thank them. So that's a sort of a differentiator that you can think about as well in your business. And that is it. Any questions, Marie?
I am really amazed with all of the information that you just shared. Love the triple wins, and we have to credit Thomason for that. When I learned about promotional, I said, wow, that is really true. I mean, a trifecta, perfect trifecta. You win, the client wins, the JV partner wins. And one thing about it, I want to reiterate for our audience is that what you said about pricing really is based on results that your clients get. Not only that, because we take this for granted, the cost of us doing this service, this program, your time, I mean, that part, and also the fact that we need to make a profit. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to sustain this business. And I didn't understand this one in the beginning. I mean, I said, okay, well, the other people charge this, so I just charge this way. And then I was thinking, well, with afterwards, the time that I put into it, the access to me, the support, I was like just giving this away. And there's nothing wrong with providing a lot of value. But if you're not able to sustain yourself in the business, you're not going to be able to deliver as much value and service that you can because of the infrastructure you need for the business. So I think that's one thing that we really have to think about, not just for our clients, but for ourselves, because we have to take care of ourselves first. Otherwise, we cannot provide that kind of level of care and support that you want to provide your clients. I just want to reiterate that one for our audience.
If I can mention, so one thing that we tend to overlook, and to your point, time is the most valuable thing that we have. So we can always make more money, but we can never get more time. So you need to decide how you want to use your time and what return on that time that you want to have. So if it's in your business, you want to make sure if you're spending time in your business, you're doing things that can build you revenue. You can continue to do so in a way that allows you to continue to expand the way you serve people. But if you want to reach more people and you want to do a lower price point, then you need to leverage that time, because we start these businesses so that we can have a greater experience in life, so we can be debt free, so we can have certain things. For me, I want a Maserati. Okay, so these things that they don't really mean anything in the big picture, but we have these goals that we want to have. Another thing is I want to travel the world. I can't do that if I'm stuck behind a desk 24/7. So I need to leverage my time, design my schedule in a way that allows me to have that lifestyle that I want. And the first step is really understanding that time is the most valuable asset we have.
All right, good stuff. So I know we've given them so much, and I'm sure they're sitting like what I have earlier, like a lot of light bulb moments. And now they are so eager to continue, get started. How can I want to work with the child. I want to learn more about this good stuff. So tell our viewers where they can learn more about you. If they want to continue working with you, where they can find out more about that.
Sure. Well, actually, I have a webinar coming up. It's called the 5 Simple Strategies to Achieving Your Goals with Confidence. And so although my primary focus that I work on in my business is with sales strategies, one of the biggest challenges people have is implementation and avoiding procrastination. So what I did is I designed this online training to show you these 5 strategies that I've used in my life to achieve things like fastest promotion record in a career, $5.5 million intake at the online university that I worked at, how I hit 6 figures in my first year in business, how I've had significant health gains and weight loss. So all these different goals that I continue to set for myself, I broke it down into a process. So I share that in that free webinar. And your audience can go to permissiontosell.com/success summit. So I put this together for your audience. And so permissiontosell.com/success summit. And they can sign up for free.
All right, so that's permissiontosell.com/success summit. Thank you for being generous and sharing that. I will make sure to have the link right below this video, so you just click and then you're gonna go there. This is a free webinar that Jeremy is generously giving us, so I highly encourage you to do that. Click the link below this video to go to that, to register for that webinar. And who doesn't want to learn strategies that help you implement stuff and avoid procrastination? I mean, I am guilty of this, especially with things that I'm not comfortable doing or that pushes me beyond my comfort zone. I notice that I procrastinate. So I am going to be on the webinar. I want you viewers to be there. So click the link below this video and get that free webinar that Jeremy is giving us. Jeremy, thank you so much. This has been awesome. I learned a ton, and I'm sure our viewers and audience learn a ton too. I can't wait to continue connecting with you and working with you and learning from you. So thank you for your generosity, not only with your time, but with sharing with us here today your expertise.
Well, my pleasure, Maria. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much.